Welcome to On the Case with Detective Alex Cardinale. In this gripping YouTube series, Detective Cardinale delves into the most notorious crimes that have captivated America. Which crime will be discussed tonight? Will it be a mass shooting, a murder, a rape, or a bank robbery? Whatever it is, it shocked America. Step into the world of crime investigation as Detective Cardinale uncovers the truth behind the crime. Delve into the web of intrigue surrounding the suspects involved in the crime. Detective Cardinale will analyze their motives, alibis, and connections to the crime. Don't miss out on the thrilling journey of uncovering the truth. On the Case with Detective Alex Cardinale goes live on air right now.
Hello, crime junkies! Welcome to an all-new episode of On the Case with me, Detective Alex Cardinale. Today's crime definitely shocked America. You know, growing up as a child, I definitely watched Nickelodeon a lot. I was very fortunate to grow up with SpongeBob SquarePants, Drake and Josh, The Amanda Show, and so many other awesome Nickelodeon classics. But ID Discovery recently put out a series called Quiet on the Set, Dark Side of Kids TV. And on Quiet on Set, Dark Side of Kids TV, it was revealed that Nickelodeon had sex offenders and child predators working for them. And that's the crime we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about the Nickelodeon Creep Club. 5 employees, all are sick individuals, but 4 of the 5 employees are convicted of sexual assault with minors. So 4 of the suspects we're going to talk about tonight are pedophiles. The most common and the most well-known of all 4 is Brian Peck, who is an acting coach, and he was the acting coach for Drake Bell of Drake and Josh. And Drake was the sexual abuse victim of Brian Peck. Brian Peck molested Drake over the course of so many years. So on this episode of On the Case with Detective Alex Cardinale, we're going to discover everything that was talked about on Quiet on Set, Dark Side of Children's TV. Now, the only person who is not convicted of sexual assault on children is Dan Schneider. But Dan Schneider is being accused of doing inappropriate things to growing women on the set. Now, he would ask for back massages and back rubs. Well, not necessarily illegal. It's definitely inappropriate. But we're going to talk about Dan Schneider a little bit later on in the show. We're going to start the show by talking about what is grooming, because it's important to learn what grooming is, because that's the modus operandi for 4 of our 5 suspects today. Grooming is what sexual predators do to their victims, be it children or adults. So let's get this show started right now. As always, please feel free to share your thoughts on this case in the comments. So let's go ahead and get started. And we're going to start by discussing grooming. What is grooming? Well, grooming is the action or behavior used to establish an emotional connection with a minor and sometimes the child's family to lower the child's inhibitions with the objective of sexual abuse. It can occur in various settings, including online, in person, and through other means of communication. Children who are groomed may experience mental health issues, including anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress, and suicidal thoughts. Behavior examples of grooming include, but not limited to, quick befriending of the child and parents, or just the child. A trusting relationship with the family means the child's parents are less likely to believe potential accusations. Child groomers might look for opportunities to have time alone with the child, which can be done by offering to babysit. The groomers may also invite the child for sleepovers, for opportunistic bed sharing. They might give gifts or money to the child in exchange for sexual contact or for no apparent reason. Commonly, they show pornography to the child or talk about sexual topics with the child, hoping to make it easy for the child to accept such acts, thus normalizing the behavior. They may also engage in hugging, kissing, or other physical contact, even when the child does not want it. Another behavior example is showering with gifts and purchases, like I mentioned a moment ago. Signs that characterize child groomers include a person who takes an unusual interest in a child, particularly if the interest is primarily focused on their physical appearance, behavior, or activities. A person who tries to communicate with a child online or in person in secret outside the knowledge of the child's parents or guardians. A person who attempts to isolate a child from their friends or family, or who discourages the child from spending time with others, or a person who asks a child to keep secrets, or who makes a child feel like they are special or important in a way that is inappropriate. Those are all signs that characterize child groomers. A person who takes unusual interest in a child, a person who communicates with a child online or in person in secret, a person attempts to isolate a child or discourage them from spending time with others, or a person who asks a child to keep secrets. Those are signs that you're dealing with a child groomer. So it's very important when you have children and your parents to keep an eye on who they're talking to online, because there's lots of child groomers out there, lots of pedophiles and sex offenders out there. All right. So now we're going to talk about the 4 sexual predators that worked at Nickelodeon, and we're going to talk about the crimes that they committed. Up first, we have a gentleman by the name of A.C.E. Channel. He was a Nickelodeon Studios animator. So let's learn about his crimes. Nickelodeon Studios animator was sentenced to 7 years and 4 months in prison for committing lewd acts on a 14-year-old boy and showing him pornography. So, A.C.E. Channel, a Nickelodeon Studios animator, had sexual acts on a minor and showed him pornography. Judge Lisa Lynch ordered A.C.E. Channel 36 of Tarzana to serve 16 months in prison for the molestation and for violating a previous conviction of lewd acts with a child under 14. He was sentenced to 6 years in prison for that conviction. Now, A.C.E. Channel was already a convicted registered sex offender. He was found guilty of 1 misdemeanor count of inappropriately touching a 14-year-old boy and 1 felony count of offering to show pornography to the boy earlier this year after he was arrested December 15th, 2005. The boy told police that Channel tried to show him a pornographic movie on his computer during a visit to Nickelodeon. Channel was also accused of luring a 13-year-old boy and 14-year-old boy into his workplace. showing them pornography and inappropriately touching them in November of 2005. Channel was charged with 2 felony counts of lewd acts with a child under 14 and 2 counts of showing, sending, or distributing harmful material. During the trial, Deputy District Attorney Maribel Estrella brought the boys, whose names are being withheld because they were minors, to testify about Channel's advances. Estrella told jurors that Channel had befriended the boys and used their interest in Nickelodeon to take advantage of them. The boys claimed that Channel touched them while he was at work and in his car and tried to show them pornography. So Nickelodeon had Azelle Channel working for them, and he is already a known sex offender, and he molested as many as 3 boys, possibly more. That is absolutely sickening when you think about it. So what I just mentioned was read from an article way back in 2006. So that is information on Azelle Channel, one of our first of many pedophiles from Nickelodeon. Now we're going to go to another pedophile that worked for Nickelodeon. And this pedophile is known as Marty West. He is a former manager who worked on TV shows like the hit series iCarly. And what's so ironic about this is that we're going to talk about Brian Peck later on in the show. And Brian Peck is the man who is accused and proven to be the molester of Drake Bell, who stars in iCarly. But anyway, let's learn about Marty West. This is another article that I found. Actually, all the sex offenders are, all the information I have for you on the sex offenders tonight, I found from articles to help me in my research. Martin West, a talent agent for kid actors who worked on Nickelodeon and Disney shows, pled no contest to 2 charges of oral copulation on a child under 14 after one of his clients told police that sexually assaulted him 30 to 40 times over a 2-year period, beginning when the child was 11 years old. Oral sex on someone under 14 and sexually assaulting them 30 to 40 times over 2 years. Absolutely sickening. Absolutely sickening that Nickelodeon did not check the backgrounds of these employees. Police suspected that other children may have been victimized as well. West pleaded no contest and was sentenced to 1 year in county jail and 5 years of probation by Los Angeles County Superior Court Judge Leslie Dunn, but he was eligible for immediately release on June 1st for good behavior and time served because he has been in custody for 6 months awaiting trial since his arrest late last year. And that is Martin West. Now we're going to learn about Jason Handy. Now, Jason Handy is a production assistant, and he had a major role on The Amanda Show. So let's learn about Mr. Jason Handy now, shall we? So this goes back almost 20 years. On Saturday, April 12th, 2003, at 5:05 p.m., Los Angeles police officers from the Van Nuys Division arrested Jason Michael Handy, who in 2003 was 28 years old, at his residence in Sherman Oaks. He was arrested for Penal Code 288A, lewd act with a child under 14. Approximately 3 years ago in 2000, Handy allegedly kissed and touched a 9-year-old girl in Glendale, California. So obviously I'm speaking in past terms. That's 23 years ago. He allegedly kissed and molested a 9-year-old girl, but this article is from 2003. After his arrest on April 12th, Jason Handy was released after posting bail. On Wednesday, April 16th, 2003, at 9:45 a.m., the Los Angeles Police Department's fugitive warrant section arrested Handy on a no-bail felony warrant from Michigan. The warrant charges Handy with accosting, soliciting, and enticing a child under the age of 16 with the intent to induce the child to commit an immoral act. As a result of information received from investigators in Michigan, the Los Angeles Police Department's sexually exploited child unit began an investigation into Handy in January 2003. The investigation revealed that Handy was attempting to prey on children at his church, in his neighborhood, and over the internet. Handy, an employee in the entertainment industry, was using those connections to contact children. The investigation, which is ongoing, has identified victims in Las Vegas, Michigan, and North Carolina. Based on information acquired during the course of this investigation, the department acquired evidence that resulted in the arrest of Handy on April 12, 2003. Now, Handy remains in custody pending his arraignment on the fugitive warrant. In the meantime, the case involving Los Angeles area children has been presented to the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office for filing consideration. Detectives believe there were more additional victims who have not come forward. So it is absolutely sickening that Jason Handy was working for Nickelodeon and he had contacted many children online and he tried to sexually assault all of those children. Absolutely disgusting. Something that I definitely am ashamed to even know, that I supported a TV station that had pedophiles working for it. That is just absolutely disgusting. All right. So my friend Matt is in the house. Hey, Matt, how are you? Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. So far we have talked about Azelle Channel. We have talked about Marty West and Jason Handy, who are 3 of the 4 sexual predators who worked for Nickelodeon. And Matt says this is commonplace at Nickelodeon. Unfortunately, in the late 1990s, mid-2000s, it was commonplace at Nickelodeon for them to have sex offenders, unfortunately. So now we're going to talk about Dan Schneider. And fortunately for Dan Schneider, he's not a pedophile. He did not sexually assault any children or any sort of sexual abuse. Dan Schneider is just a sick individual. So let's talk about Dan Schneider now. Dan Schneider is a Nickelodeon TV producer. He produced many series such as The Amanda Show, Drake and Josh, and many other hit Nickelodeon shows. Now on the Quiet on the Set, Dark Side of Children TV, they represent Dan Schneider as someone as a strict boss, but also an inappropriate boss who tried to get his employees to give him massages and other stuff. So let's learn about Dan Schneider right now, what he did during his time as a producer at Nickelodeon. And this report is coming from Deadline Hollywood. Deadline Hollywood, the first to report about Nickelodeon parting ways with Schneider in March 2018, also reported that there were complaints about Dan Schneider's behavior. They included the accusation that he had well-documented temper issues for years, and that on Twitter, he often posted pictures of the feet of the young actresses who worked for him. Additionally, in 2013, he sent a tweet soliciting pictures of feet from a target demographic of minors under the guise of a contest using the official Sam and Cat Twitter account. In June of 2021, the New York Times reported that Nickelodeon's decision to sever ties with Schneider came after his parent company, Viacom CBS, completed an internal investigation that found evidence of Schneider verbally abusing his colleagues. Some of his colleagues told the newspaper that they found him to be difficult to work with and prone to tantrums and angry emails. The investigation did not find evidence of sexual misconduct. When asked about the allegations, Schneider defended his work and said that if people found him to be hard to work with, it was because he maintained high standards as showrunner. In August of 2022, Insider reported several new allegations from former actors and employees, including accusations of gender discrimination and asking for massages from adult female colleagues. A person close to Schneider said Schneider regrets ever asking anyone for a massage and agrees it was not appropriate. Russell Hicks, a former executive at Nickelodeon, denied allegations of sexualized scenes in Schneider's shows and claimed that every day on every set were the parents and caretakers and their friends watching every single frame of footage and listening to every joke. Every single thing that Dan ever did on any of his shows was carefully scrutinized and approved. The 2024 documentary miniseries, Quiet on Set, exposed Schneider's alleged toxic workplace behavior at Nickelodeon. Now, Dan Schneider has responded to these allegations from Quiet on the Set, and he apologized for his aggressive and misogynistic behavior in the workplace, but he denied other allegations, including soliciting feet pictures from underage girls. So that is Dan Schneider. He was a toxic work boss. He created a toxic workplace, and he got massages from his adult females. But luckily for Dan Schneider, he is not a sexual predator, at least not now. Nothing has come to light about him being a sexual predator. And that leads us to our final suspect from Nickelodeon and the fifth and final member of the Nickelodeon Creep Club. Coming up next, we're going to talk about Mr. Brian Peck, the man who sexually abused Drake Bell from Drake and Josh, right after this quick little Saturday Live commercial.
The next Saturday Live with Alex Cardinale is going to be awesome. Live Saturday, April 20th, 2024 at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Come join Alex Cardinale for some Saturday night fun. Alex will start the show with an announcement regarding our 2-year anniversary celebration episode of Saturday Live taking place on May 18th. Sergeant Slaughter will have facts on Uber's amusement park and Burger King. Topics will include the symptoms of a heart attack, and the question "Is soda bad for you?" will be answered. The Oasis Aquatics featured fish will be the lenticulata pike cichlid. Aquascape Online featured fish is the Moto stingray. Aqua Alex's featured fish is the ornate shear. The animal of the week will be the red ear slider turtle. Learn about red ear slider turtles. Plus, what recipe will Chef Alex have? All that and more. Live Saturday, April 20th, 2024 at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific on YouTube channel The Real Alex Cardinale.
All right, so right now, let's go ahead and discuss Brian Peck. Brian Peck is a Nickelodeon acting coach. Well, he was a Nickelodeon acting coach when he committed his sexual offenses. So, Brian Peck was arrested on charges of lewd acts with a child. now revealed to be Drake Bell. He was arrested in August of 2003, and he was sentenced to prison the following year in 2004. Brian Peck and Drake Bell met on the set of season 2 of The Amanda Show, a sketch comedy series starring Amanda Bynes. Brian Peck worked closely with the child actors as a dialogue coach, and Drake Bell was a cast member. Occasionally, Peck also appeared on camera as Pickle Boy on the Nickelodeon series All That. Drake Bell says, Brian and I became really close because we had a lot of the same interest, which looking back I think was probably a little calculated, Drake Bell said while being interviewed for Quiet on Set. Bell said that over time, Brian integrated himself into his life. Brian Peck also caused a divide between Bell and his father, Joe Bell. During this time, Brian Peck assumed a parental role, picking up Drake Bell for auditions and letting the actor stay at his home overnight because his house was further away. Drake Bell said in the documentary that he was first sexually assaulted by Brian Peck when he was 15 years old and sleeping on the acting coach's couch. Drake Bell described the abuse as extensive, brutal, and not a one-time thing. Drake Bell, who was gearing up to star in his own Nickelodeon show called Drake and Josh, kept his abuse a secret out of fear that his career would be affected. Eventually, Drake Bell confided in his mom, and she immediately called the police. Brian Peck, then 43 years old, was arrested in August 2003 on 11 charges of child sexual abuse related to a child actor. Drake Bell filed his case as a John Doe to remain anonymous. The majority of the court records, including letters written in support of Peck, were sealed until Maxine Productions, one of the Quiet on Set producers, successfully petitioned the court to unseal them in 2023. I can't believe people actually came to the defense of Brian Peck. That is sickening. Per the doc, Brian Peck pleaded no contest to 2 charges of child sexual abuse. In October of 2004, he was sentenced to 16 months in jail in order to register as a sex offender. The fact that he only served 16 months is shocking. But what I'm about to say next is even more shocking. Despite being a convicted abuser and registered sex offender, Brian Peck still found work in Hollywood, this time at Nickelodeon's competitor, Disney Channel. Brian Peck is credited with voicing a talking mirror on 3 episodes of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, which aired in 2006 and 2007. Rich and Beth Corral, who worked with Peck on The Amanda Show and wrote letters in support of him, were involved in the Sweet Life episodes. Rich was listed as the episode's director, and Beth was listed as the first assistant director. The Corrals said in a statement to the producers on Quiet on Set that they had no input or involvement in the casting of Peck on Sweet Life. The pair said that when they asked Peck about the case, he told them that the problem had been resolved. And that is Brian Peck, the man that sexually tormented and sexually abused Drake Bell for so many years. You know, I grew up watching Nickelodeon, and it's crazy to think that some of the Nickelodeon child actors who I thought had it all were being abused behind the scenes. They were being sexually abused behind the scenes, and that's terrible to think about. You've got celebrities like Drake Bell and Amanda Bynes, who are supposed to be big-time celebrities, but they're treated like sex toys by these sexual predators So it is absolutely disgusting what that documentary revealed about these former Nickelodeon Creep Club. I call them the Nickelodeon Predators. That's because that's what they are. It is absolutely disgusting. So my thoughts on this case, unfortunately, there are sex offenders out there. Unfortunately, there are predators out there. There are pedophiles out there, even in Hollywood. Yes, even in Hollywood, there are sex offenders and there are predators. Even in Hollywood, there are child sex offenders out there. So nowhere is safe. Nowhere. You can't trust anyone. Basically, that's the message I have for you. You can't trust anyone nowadays. All right, let's check our comments here. I see we have 2 comments. Yes, I definitely agree with Matt here. Matt says, no way Nick did not know so many pedophiles worked there. They had to know. They had to know. They probably just didn't want to do anything. They probably didn't want to fire any of them. Nickelodeon is more like it. Yes, that is true. Nickelodeon, definitely true. So earlier in the show, we talked about grooming. So it's always important to watch your children on social media because there's a lot of groomers out there and sick people online. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of On the Case with Detective Alex Cardinale. I hope you learned a lot about the Nickelodeon Creep Club and Nickelodeon Predators. If you haven't already, I highly recommend checking out Quiet on Set, Dark Side of Children's TV on Investigation Discovery. It's a great miniseries. There's at least 5 episodes documenting all of the abuse that went on at Nickelodeon. They document Dan Schneider in detail. They document Brian Peck and Drake Bell's case in detail and other cases. Check it out. And also hear directly from Drake Bell about the abuse that he went through at Nickelodeon and with Brian Peck. Not Josh Peck, Brian Peck. Anyway, if you enjoyed the show, please make sure to hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to my channel, The Real Alex Cardinale. We're going to have more episodes of On the Case with Detective Alex Cardinale coming your way in the near future. So if you like crime, be sure to subscribe to my channel. And to check out any of my previous episodes of On the Case, go to my YouTube channel, The Real Alex Cardinale, and go to the On the Case with Detective Alex Cardinale playlist, and you can watch any of our previous episodes. If you see something, say something. Never be afraid to call 911 and keep yourself safe. With that being said, have a great rest of your Friday evening. Have a great weekend, everyone, and stay safe. Thank you for watching. Detective Alex Cardinale saying adios and good night, everybody.
Thank you very much for watching this live stream of the Real Alex Cardinale YouTube channel. I hope you enjoyed the show. I want to thank you all for your patronage for the last 10 years. It's going to be incredible riding into the future with more awesome live streams and videos. Aqua Alex Cardinale, Chef Alex Cardinale, WWE fan Alex Cardinale, Detective Alex Cardinale, and the Real Alex Cardinale would like to thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this live stream, please smash that like button. If you are new to my YouTube channel, please hit that subscribe button and become a legendary viewer and a legendary Cardinale. Check out the Real Alex Cardinale on social media. Facebook Alex Cardinale, American Alex. Instagram instagram.com/Alex Cardinale 93. Fish keepers, please join our amazing Facebook fish keeping group Aquarium Obsession. Check out and support Oasis Aquatics, our amazing supporter since July of 2023. www.oasisaquaticsnj.com. Follow Oasis Aquatics on Facebook and Instagram. Have a good night and thanks for watching. Stay legendary.